Alright, so these are my cobble changes. A site's probably seen the most changes. I've rearranged the color, I've moved this from like here-ish to here, put some boxes here. So this kind of replaces the van, and then this has kind of more tidy angles than I think this did. So you've got this angle here to watch along. You can't actually see down ramp from here. You've got to go all the way around here. And also I've changed ramp a whole lot. As you can see, I've added this area to kind of separate long and ramp and raise the wall so you can either peek from here or jump on this barrel. Or you can watch from over here. This is probably the most like finicky area, I'd say. I'm kind of just testing things, so this barrel could go, this wall could come back, but yeah, I'm just kind of testing shit. This door is new, obviously. It allows Ts, once they've got control of this water room, or pillar room now, because there's a pillar here, I'll talk about that later, they can kind of clear angles individually, one by one, while being safe from this door, so you can clear the barrel, clear the long, clear that corner, clear close, then come out, and yeah, this is the other big change. But yeah, so that's what I've done over at A, removed the murder hole. So this comes from drop. This is really the only change from B apart from closing up flowerbed. And this, I'll talk about this in depth more later, but this is kind of copying overpass's connector. That's what it's kind of trying to do. And ignore that, that's just a visual bug. Nah. Because I think the biggest part of Cobble that was lacking was once you were committed to a site, you had to, as a T, come all the way back around if you want to rotate and go to the other side. Whereas now, you're attacking ramp, you're smoked off, you can sell a fake, and the lurk over at B can push with you. You've got a good B setup as a T. So I think that raises the skill ceiling for Ts a lot. But other than that, B is basically the same. Over at the T side of the map, I've removed a lot of the areas that kind of just useless, like this upper area, this here. Those are just for saving or running away, basically. The sniper nest obviously needs to go. This back area. And this here is so the CT peeking here, I've pushed this out a bit. So the CT peeking here really only has to worry about this line of sight. Everything else, and so everything behind here is now blocked off. So it's a lot easier as a CT to watch out here if you want to get a quick pick. And if you want to watch, you know, you have to swing out wide to get a better angle. Other than that, long is pretty much the same, except pushing out obviously is going to be very different. It's a lot safer, and it's pretty separate now. There's not a big courtyard here to play around with. So come down the stairs stay the same. There's a big pillar here. This is so that I remove the door here. That kind of, not much thought behind that, I just want to kind of test what that does. But the pillar kind of just has to be there to stop the line of sight between the two. So as a CT playing water now, you'll come out and you can play around the pillar like so. I've closed up this connector because it's kind of replaced by this. So as a T, you either have to fight for a powerful connector or you just have to kind of fall back for another connection. Ignore this. This is just a visual bug. So yeah, I think that's all the changes. So the reason I've made these changes is because the main change obviously is the connector between drop and A ramp. And this change, as I said, it comes from Overpass. So I think Overpass is the map most similar to Cobble. It has 2 lanes to each side with a connector in between. But the main difference between Overpass and Cobble, which makes Overpass a far superior map in my opinion, is if you look at this line, this is the line in which Ts meet CTs. So CTs are on this side, Ts are on this side. And as you can see, the connector between the inner A path and the inner B path on Overpass is initially CT controlled, which means terrorists have to fight for a connector between their 2 routes, or they can fall back and take the long route all the way around, which is not very beneficial for them, obviously. So you'll rarely see an overpass game, or overpass round even, where Ts don't take some sort of connector control. On Cobblestone, however, it's a similar thing. So you've got two routes to B, two routes to A, but the connector is initially T controlled, which, for starters, just there's no point going back to T spawn ever. You'll never come out of T spawn and then go back again unless you're saving. So that makes things pretty boring, and CTs can never like try and control or rotate unless they get very aggressive, which is obviously extremely punishable on Cobblestone. You've got so many angles outside, which I've kind of trimmed down a bit. So by giving the connector between drop and ramp and removing this connector, it means Ts have to put almost equal pressure on each bomb site until they take a bomb site. So getting either drop or the bottom of ramp is going to be very useful for Ts now. And I think that'll really raise the skill ceiling on T side and make things a lot more interesting to watch. And the other thing, obviously, it does is make retakes on A especially a lot better. Because beforehand, you had the B players coming from, connector and going either heaven, motor hole, or just the door. Or you could go all the way around and come main or long, which takes so long. So now with this connector, you've got a quick route to come in to A main or A ramp, or you can even go around to long, which makes things a lot more interesting. And the other big change I've done is added this kind of flower bed here. And what that does, or not flower bed, it'll probably be a similar flower bed to this thing on B. But what it does is the other big change that made Overpass very competitively viable was they split up A long and A short. So A long used to come in here. This wasn't a thing, and A only had one entrance. That's kind of what Cobble is looking like now. So by adding this, you've kind of got two distinct paths into the site. Not as much as Overpass, but definitely more so now. And you've also got this wall, so it comes in even further away. So that's my reasoning for these two big changes. I think the changes on A ramp are pretty experimental. I've kind of just done shit to see what it does, especially that barrel thing and destroying the wall from long. I think the wall from long could definitely be closed up to make them even more separate. But yeah, those are my changes. And yeah, that's it.